The rain had not stopped for 3 days when the little girl collapsed in the middle of the grocery store aisle. People stared for a moment, unsure what to do, but one quiet single father dropped everything in his hands and ran toward her without hesitation. What nobody inside that store knew was that the child belonged to one of the richest women in the city, a billionaire whose heart had already been shattered beyond repair. And before that stormy night ended, the words spoken by that exhausted single dad would change her life forever. If you believe kindness still exists in this world, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that touch the heart. Also tell us in the comments where you are watching from and whether you believe second chances can truly change a person's life. Daniel Harper had never imagined life would become this heavy before the age of 35. 3 years earlier, he had been an ordinary man with an ordinary life, working long shifts as a mechanic while raising his daughter Lily with his wife Emma. Their apartment was small, their furniture old, and their savings almost non-existent, but their home had been full of laughter. Then one winter morning, Emma left for work and never returned. A drunk driver ended everything in seconds. After the funeral, silence became the loudest thing in Daniel's life. Every morning felt like climbing a mountain with stones tied to his chest. He still had to wake Lily for school, make breakfast, wash clothes, clean the apartment, and somehow continue working enough hours to pay rent. There were nights he sat alone in the kitchen after Lily fell asleep, staring at unpaid bills while pretending he was strong enough to survive another month. But Daniel had learned something painful about grief. The world does not stop because your heart is broken, so he kept moving. Quietly, without complaints, without asking anyone for help. Lily became the only reason he continued fighting. She had her mother's smile and her father's calm eyes. Even when money became tight, Daniel tried to protect her from the darkness surrounding their lives. He skipped meals sometimes so she could have proper lunches for school. He worked extra shifts fixing engines until his hands became rough and cracked. Yet despite everything, he remained gentle. The people around him noticed it. He was the kind of man who returned lost wallets without checking inside. The kind who carried groceries for elderly neighbors. The kind who smiled softly even when life gave him every reason not to. Across the city, Victoria Sinclair lived in a completely different world. Her mansion overlooked the ocean. Luxury cars lined her driveway. Newspapers called her the youngest self-made billionaire in the country. Cameras followed her everywhere, capturing perfect dresses, expensive jewelry, and cold, elegant smiles. But behind those mansion walls, Victoria was falling apart. 2 years earlier, she had trusted the wrong man. Adrian Cole was charming, intelligent, and ambitious. He convinced her he loved her for who she was, not for her wealth. She believed him completely. She imagined marriage, children, and a peaceful future together. Then one night she discovered the truth. Adrian had secretly transferred millions from her company accounts and planned to disappear overseas with another woman. The betrayal destroyed something deep inside her. She recovered the money through lawyers, but her ability to trust people disappeared forever. After that, Victoria stopped letting anyone close. Her employees feared her cold personality. Friends slowly vanished because she avoided every invitation. Interviews became shorter. Smiles became rarer. At night, she wandered through her massive empty house feeling more alone than ever before. And worst of all, she blamed herself. She believed her success had cursed her life. That rainy evening, Victoria took her 6-year-old niece Sophie shopping because the child had been feeling lonely after losing her own parents. Victoria was trying her best to care for her, but she struggled with affection. Love felt dangerous now. Inside the grocery store, Sophie suddenly became dizzy and fainted onto the floor. Victoria froze in panic. Memories of loss hit her instantly. Her breathing became shaky as terrified customers gathered around. She tried calling for help, but her voice barely worked. Then Daniel appeared. Without caring about the expensive clothes getting soaked from the rainwater on the floor, he knelt beside Sophie calmly. He checked her breathing, lifted her gently, and asked someone nearby to call emergency services. Lily stood beside him holding the grocery basket quietly, watching her father with proud eyes. Victoria expected arrogance or attention-seeking behavior once people recognized her, But Daniel barely looked at her wealth or status. His entire focus remained on the frightened child. At the hospital, doctors confirmed Sophie had collapsed from exhaustion and stress. She would recover completely. Victoria sat outside the hospital room feeling emotionally drained. Daniel was preparing to leave quietly when she finally stopped him. For the first time in years, someone had shown her genuine kindness without wanting anything in return. She thanked him awkwardly and offered money for helping her niece. Daniel refused immediately. That surprised her more than anything. Most people treated Victoria Sinclair like a walking bank account. But Daniel simply smiled tiredly and told her that helping someone should never come with a price tag. Those words stayed in her mind long after he left. Over the following weeks, Victoria could not stop thinking about the quiet mechanic with sad eyes. Something about him felt different from everyone else she knew. There was pain inside him, but also warmth, a rare kind of strength. Eventually, she visited his repair shop under the excuse of fixing her car. The place was small and noisy, nothing like the polished corporate buildings she normally entered. Yet Daniel treated every customer with patience and respect. During breaks, she noticed him calling Lily to remind her about homework and dinner. The tenderness in his voice affected Victoria deeply. Little by little, conversations began forming between them. At first, they talked only about ordinary things: work, weather, parenting struggles. But slowly, deeper truths surfaced. Daniel told her about losing Emma. Victoria admitted how betrayal had turned her heart cold. One evening after closing time, Victoria finally confessed something she had never told anyone before. She admitted that despite all her success, she felt empty every single day. She said wealth could buy houses, cars, and luxury vacations, but it could not stop loneliness from swallowing a person whole. Daniel listened quietly. Then he spoke words that would remain with her forever. He told her that broken people often spend years believing they are impossible to love, but pain does not make someone unworthy. He said the heart is like a house after a storm. Even when windows shatter and walls crack, light can still enter again if someone is brave enough to open the door. Victoria nearly cried hearing those words, because for the first time in years someone saw her pain instead of her money. After that night, her life slowly began changing. She started spending time with Daniel and Lily outside work. They visited parks, ate simple dinners together, and watched old movies in Daniel's tiny apartment. Victoria experienced something unfamiliar there: peace. No fake smiles. No business meetings. No people trying to impress her. Just honesty. Lily especially transformed Victoria's heart. The little girl treated her with pure affection, drawing pictures for her and asking innocent questions about life. Victoria realized how much warmth she had denied herself for years because of fear. Meanwhile, Daniel also began healing. For the first time since Emma's death, laughter returned naturally to his life. He no longer spent every night alone with grief. Victoria encouraged him to dream again instead of merely surviving. She secretly paid for better educational opportunities for Lily, but Daniel only accepted after she promised it came from love, not pity. Months passed. The city eventually noticed the billionaire spending time with an ordinary mechanic. Media gossip exploded everywhere. Some people accused Daniel of chasing wealth, while others mocked Victoria for lowering herself. But neither of them cared anymore, because both understood something the world did not. Real love is not built on status. It is built on kindness during someone's darkest moments. One winter evening, nearly a year after they first met, Victoria stood beside Daniel watching snow fall outside his apartment window. Lily was asleep on the couch after a movie night. The room smelled like hot chocolate and cinnamon candles. Victoria suddenly realized something shocking. For the first time in years, she was not afraid anymore. Not of betrayal. Not of loneliness. Not of tomorrow. Daniel had not healed her with grand gestures or expensive promises. He healed her simply by being gentle in a cruel world. And Daniel realized Emma's memory no longer brought only pain. Loving again did not mean forgetting the past. It meant allowing life to continue. Sometimes the people who save us arrive quietly. No dramatic entrances. No perfect timing. Just ordinary kindness powerful enough to rebuild a broken soul. Before this story ends, leave a comment below and tell us, have you ever met someone whose simple words changed your life forever? Years later, Victoria would still remember the exact sentence Daniel spoke outside that hospital room after helping Sophie. He had looked exhausted, soaked from rain, carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, yet he still smiled gently and said that people need each other more than they realize. And perhaps that was the real miracle. Not money, not success, not power, just human kindness surviving in a world that desperately needs it. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, and comment to support the channel so more people can hear emotional stories like this. And before you go, tell us in the comments which country you are watching from. Your support means more than you know.